Thank you very much. Thank you, Bonnie, for organizing this event today. I'm really just here to welcome you as we move forward, and also to confess one of my regrets in my first year in office, my second year in office actually. When I gave my State of the City address this year, I spent about a month putting it together. And I worked with tons of people all across the city to sort of get ideas and come up with policies and direction and vision. And if you don't know this about me, I grew up in a theater family, in the arts community. My father was an actor. My grandmother was an actress in the Cleveland Playhouse. My father was doing theater all around, sort of downtown, off Broadway, New York theater. And I was on this path to be an actor as well. I went to the High School of Performing Arts, and then I went to Juilliard, and I was planning to be the next Marlon Brando, and I sort of had it all figured out. And at some point along that path, I realized that that wasn't the path that I wanted to walk. It was kind of the path that I knew because my family did it, and I seemed to have some talent for it, some skill for it, so I kept walking that path. I felt like the conflict for me at that time was this political side of me with this artistic side, and I wanted those pieces to be put together. And I couldn't find that place in the theater for whatever reason, even though my father's theater was very political. And I realized actually over time that the theater side of me was not the place that I wanted to do the political work that I wanted to do, and I actually found that work in educational reform, working with at-risk kids and low-income families and trying to help kids who were in jail or kids who had fallen through the cracks and trying to find a better path, help them make better choices. That, to me, was the most important political work I could do at that time. So I grew up in this political family, and what I am confessing is that in this great State of the City speech I gave, and let me tell you, it was awesome, in which I talked about all of these different policies, I completely left the arts out of the speech. And I have no idea how that happened, honestly, because I even had people around me. My father was helping me with the speech, other people in the arts community in Portland, and somehow it fell out. And maybe that's reflective of something that we too often do. Even what's right in front of us, what we know makes our community so much stronger, somehow gets left aside. And this year's State of the City will not do that. I will make sure that I put it in. And I'm pleased about this conference, the importance of public art, in particular, that you're putting forward. In my world, of course, growing up, kind of all the art that I did was temporary, right? When you do a play, it's temporary art. It disappears that night, never to be seen again in the form that you just saw it. And so that's an art form that I'm very comfortable with, and an art form that I think is some of the most important art we have. It's that moment of reflection. Last night as I walked down to Franklin Arterial and saw the temporary art that you had there to remind us of what we've lost from Lincoln Park, I was reminded of that. On my wall in my office is a poster of a quote from Bertolt Brecht that says, "Art is not a mirror held up to reality, it is a hammer with which to shape it." And for me, that's what temporary art does. It shapes it. It helps us understand reality and form it in a way that perhaps we wouldn't otherwise. And that's what I think you're doing. You're helping to help our city reflect and understand and shape. Public art for us, yes, it's an economic engine. Yes, it enhances quality of life. But most importantly, it helps to shape us and make us stronger and make us better. So I thank you for having this conference. I thank you for the work that you're doing in the community, and I know that you will make Portland a stronger place for that work. So thank you for inviting me today.